Zagan is a powerful sorcerer, feared by many throughout the land, but he also has social anxiety. One day, he and his friend Barbados go to an auction. An archdemon has just died, and its stuff is being sold off. Zagan goes in, wanting artifacts. He comes out with a white-haired slave girl named Ophelia, and he spent every gold he had to buy her. There's one thing he's forgotten, though. It's way easier to buy a girl than it will ever be for him to talk to her. And that's a problem, because the moment he saw her, Zagan fell madly, hopelessly in love. Can he find a way to win Ophelia's affection, or is he doomed to remain alone? Welcome to the first episode of my Anime Impressions series, where I'm going to be trying to help you determine whether some of this season's fresh new anime is right for you. We've already talked about the summary of the show, but moving forward we'll talk about the characters, we'll talk about some of the show's best tropes and features, and we'll talk about certain aspects of the show which might just drive you up the wall, so that you can take all that information and make a personalized decision about whether you would like to watch this. Now that we understand a bit more about the plot, let's talk about the characters. As I said above, Zagan is a powerful sorcerer with social anxiety. What makes him unique is that his thoughts, words, and actions often contradict each other. He is actually a pretty decent guy, and through the first 3 episodes of the series, it's made clear that he has good intentions toward Ophelia. We also see that being in her presence is having a positive impact on him. As for Ophelia herself, her life has been hard and full of suffering. She constantly thinks she's going to die or be tortured. She has lost all ability to make decisions that benefit her own survival, and that's something we see Zagan try to help her with. Ophelia has been told from birth that she should never have been born. White-haired elves are a bad omen in this world, and she took that personally. Now that you know the plot and characters, let's talk about what's great about an Archdemon's Dilemma. Number 1, a romantic comedy in a fantasy world. I love the fact that the show has most of its focus on romance and comedy interactions between the leads, while being set in a fantasy realm. This is a mostly sweet and funny show that's extremely character-driven. With a likable main pair and interesting side cast, the characters keep the story interesting. Number 2, despite its character focus, the magic system and world building are solid. We get to learn about magic as Zagan teaches the basics to Ophelia. We learn more about the world as we delve into Zagan and Ophelia's backgrounds, or when we explore places like the nearby town or the church. While our main focus is on the main pair, they exist in a compelling story world. Number 3, a tale of love from a villainous perspective. While I'd personally say that Zagan is more true neutral than lawful evil or chaotic evil, he is seen as a villain by the powers that be in the world in which he resides. Given that sorcerers in this world are known for kidnapping people, torturing people, experimenting on people, and flaying people's faces off, this should come as no surprise. But people are more than their powers and other people's perceptions. One of the coolest things about the show, to me, is seeing people's opinions of Zagan shift now that Nephi is in his life. Number 4, 2 broken people mending each other. Zagan and Nephi are both characters with tragic and troubling pasts, and they are both still working through those. One of the most beautiful parts of the show, to me, is seeing how being together helps them face parts of their past that they find difficult, and how it encourages them to rise above what others might think of them, or what they think of themselves. Number 5, Zagan might be socially inept, but the love he feels toward Ophelia shines through beautifully in his actions. I adore the contrast between what Zagan says, what he thinks, and what he does. These 3 things are often working in completely different directions, and the result is hilarious and heartwarming. Number 6, Nephi shows more concern toward Zagan than she does toward herself. We need to see a shift in this eventually, but at first all Nephi wants to do is die, so at least it's a step in the right direction that she now cares about someone. The way these 2 actually care about each other and look out for each other by choice is something special, especially given how they met. Now that you've heard the good, here are a few heads up on things that may or may not work for you. Number 1, this story includes slavery. That probably seems obvious from the summary, but I know it's something some people can handle and others can't. I think the subject is handled tastefully as far as Zagan and Nephilia are concerned, but there will be some people who will feel that romance is damaged by the power dynamic between the two, and that should be noted here. Zagan does make efforts to help Nephi rebuild her individual autonomy as a person, and the main reason he hasn't taken her collar off is that it's magically sealed in a way that he can't undo. But there is still, at least, a master-servant dynamic between the pair at this point of the story, and I know there are some people who simply do not feel that that kind of interaction can be used in romantic fiction. Number 2. While there's some action in the story, action is not the main focus. If you're looking for something with unending fights against other sorcerers or badass creatures left and right, there's a chance you'll be disappointed, at least based off of the first 3 episodes. Number 3. This is shonen romance. I'm pointing this out for any fellow female viewers. The level of connection may not go deep enough for you. There are a few jokes about panties or a bondage suit. To be clear, each of these things only happened once, but I know this will annoy some viewers, so I'm disclosing it here. Number 4. Zagan's social anxiety and Nephilia's indifference to her own life are traits that are carried forward throughout all 3 episodes. This may or may not ease up during the season, but these are very prevalent here. If you don't like them, they might drive you up the wall. Personally, these are things I actually love about these characters, and while I hope to see them slowly grow away from them, at least with each other, that hasn't happened at this stage. And that's where I think we'll wrap this up. I don't want to go into too much detail on things here, since my goal is to help you decide whether to watch An Archdemon's Dilemma, and not to give you all of the story beats, because that's what my discussion videos are for. If you do decide to watch the show though, feel free to come back and check out my episode discussions for 1, 2, and 3. I hope this has been helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!